Yo, it's the Drop Night Show. Me and my lovely host, Mara D.
What's up, everyone? We're so happy to be back again.
Yeah.
And we're in the Batcave.
The Batcave. Legendary Batcave Studio. With the man himself, Rugged Ness. What up, Ruggy?
You know, I'm humble, man, so
Oh, that's how you play it?
I always play it this way. I always play it this way. It just is what it is.
So, Rug, you've been, let's say, a rapper, a writer, a producer, and an engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you get into all that? What made you get into all that?
First, before I answer that question, this is my brother. He knows all these answers already. So, but I'm gonna tell y'all, so y'all will know. So, what made me get into all that? Right? You know, just being young and just listening to all the early hip hop and everything else, man. It it just attached to me early, very early. So, because it did. Just, I don't know, I just felt the love for it, I was into everything, at one time, so,
And what age did this spark happen?
It happened, I'm gonna say probably like 9 years old. Probably like 9 years old, somewhere around there, so, I don't know, man, I just felt the energy from the music, you know what I mean, and it cost me a lot, to do it, and I'm gonna be honest through this whole thing. So I'm gonna say some of the things that maybe some people wouldn't say. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
So as a producer, right? How did you learn? Because nowadays producers are learning from YouTube. A lot of them not going to school. They just learn it from YouTube.
Trial and error, man. It was all trial and error. We were in a city where there were recording studios and artists, but at the younger age that I was, and even me growing up, I couldn't just go down to Philly International or just walk in the door. I couldn't just go to see Jeff Spot or anybody, people's studios and just start, trying to get in there. It's not as simple as now. Like everyone is opening studios now,
right.
And and it's more easier to welcome kids in. But back then, it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? So,
So as a young person who has all this passion for music and the doors aren't necessarily just being thrown open for you, what kind of helped facilitate you to be able to get into those spaces and around eventually obviously big artists that you got to work with?
What facilitated that? I think being in the basement, I remember we went through a lot. So, we had the group, mom was managing us, we're on buses going to Virginia and trying to do shows. And so I think as we got older and everyone else started fading, started fading out from doing the music, and I stayed with it the whole time. And I kept rapping, and I'm writing or whatever the case, and and then the one thing came along, which was Jam Master Jay, and I ended up doing the deal with Jay.
Tell us more about this.
So that we were a group,
What was the name of the group?
It was Ruggedness and Mad Drama. So it was me, Tweet, and Sean, and not this Sean.
Oh.
Not my brother Sean. Another Sean.
Background dancer.
And we were performing at the Dell East.
Mm-hmm.
So we were on stage and we were doing our our little sound check or whatever, and Jay showed up, him and his people, because they needed us to get off the stage so they could do theirs. This is Run DMC, So, but he stood and waited because he was liking what I was doing. So he was just sitting there with his arms folded, you know, watching the whole time. And we came off the stage, and he gave me his number, and he was just like, yeah, no, I like you, you know, this and that. And I was like, okay. You know, on the bill was Run DMC, this girl named The Boss, Onyx,
Lady of Rage.
yeah. It was a bunch of people. And so, actually, Tweet played the prank. You know, Tweet always playing pranks. So he played the prank on me, you know, and said Jay called. But he didn't.
Okay.
I was mad too. But then, I say maybe like 3 or 4 months later, Jay called. For real. And he was at a party, and he was with Biggie Smalls and a bunch of other people around him. And he said, yeah, you ever hear of Biggie Smalls? Well, we would call him Big, you know, now. But he said, you ever hear of Biggie Smalls? And I said, yeah, I heard of him, because I actually had the vinyl Party and Bullshit, and that was the only one that was out.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, I heard of him. He said, yeah, I'm standing here with him right now. You know, I'm going to get y'all in the studio together. And he's doing the selling tactic. You know, and I'm not looking at it like Biggie Smalls is going to become this big artist that we all love and wish was still here. You know, so I'm just feeling arrogant, like, you know, I'm going to hold my own in the studio, you know. It ain't nothing, all right, you know, but, you know, when you're going to come down, you know, so we can, you know, work on an agreement or whatever if we're going to do something. I'm kind of speeding up through it a little bit.
Right.
But, so he came down and we did agreements, man, and I ended up on JMJ Records. But I never got to the studio with Biggie. So
that was the cap up?
That was part of the cap. But it was cool because that's the game.
Right.
You know, that's the game. So
Has it changed a lot from then to now as far as the game, would you say?
Yeah.
What are those, like, maybe a few of the standout things that you know are so different?
Well, the hustle was different. You know what I mean? You know, you had to do a lot more work. So, you know, we didn't have YouTube and, you know, the internet the way that it is, you know, was in its early stages.
Right.
Back then. We had cassettes. You know, then it went to CDs. Right. Now it's like, you know, you got a little thumb thing or your phone. You know, yeah. So, you know, the hustle was just entirely different. You know, and, you know, we did a lot of little local shows. But it was like the same people having the local shows, you know. So I mean, but just the hustle was different.
So you work with a lot of artists in Philly, right? Name some of the artists that you was very instrumental inside their career.
Well, I'm going to say this: not many artists from here has made big careers, but there's a few. So you have, so I can say Eve. Eve didn't start in the basement, but with me, but she majority of her early, you know, works and just getting around as being a artist started in, you know, the basement. You know, and you also have of course Gilly. You know, everyone knows Major Figures. That whole beginning of Major Figures, the whole original mixtape that they did was done in the basement at the crib. Everyone knows Meek Mill. You know, my guy. I haven't talked to him in a while. It's still my guy, but yeah, you know, he actually was recording with someone else here and there until he met me. Then once he met me, he didn't ever go back. And the first record we did was In My Bag. And I didn't even know the music was, it was during a change. You know what I'm saying? Because the scope of music was changing around that time. So when he first did In My Bag, I'm just kind of like, it's alright. I mean, it's, right. You know, because it wasn't traditional music, you know, hip, the way music was done to me. You know what I'm saying? But,
because of the way that he wrote,
the way that he structured,
a song.
Yeah, the way he structured it, and even the way he spit it, because it was very run-on sentencey.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So, but he was changing the scope of the game somewhat. You know what I mean? And so but you know, he went on to be a huge artist.
Right.
You know.
How did you feel when you heard him mention you in the record?
You know, I'm real humble, so you know that happened plenty of times. He's not the first one to do that, you know, but he's the first one that did it, and it went worldwide. You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, it's not a thing. I'm humbled all the time about this stuff.
That's good though. So with someone like a Meek Mill, who you work with and you see that he's doing things differently, maybe from like status quo or what has been done in the past, as someone who's so knowledgeable, how do you kind of allow your artists to still have their kind of mark on the song and it be them, but you're still guiding them or developing them and still kind of helping them hone in on it, but allowing them to still shine and kind of do it their way too?
Well,
is there a compromise that has to happen to get to that point?
Well, no, because I do it the opposite way of what you said. You know, I let them allow me to do, to help them. Yeah. You know, if that's what they want.
So you read off of their energy?
Yeah.
You don't just come in and say, change this, do
Yeah. I didn't do that to Meek. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't do that to Gil. I didn't do that to Eve. I didn't do that to anybody in that sense. Mm-hmm. You know, I can feel when, you know, maybe some information from me or maybe just some type of guidance from me may be needed, you know, and I would offer it or whatever the case. But a lot of times I let them do their thing. Like it's plenty of times, you know, out of the people that I said, you know, they'll be writing and, you know, they might say a line. I might give them another line, or I might suggest a different way of saying it. That's just part of the artistry of just us helping each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a credit thing or anything like that. It's just like, you know, we're here to just try to get the work done. Mm-hmm. You know, but most artists, I'm gonna be honest, most artists here, they come to the studio and they're already ready and they have their thing the way that they want to do it. And my job isn't to judge them. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't take, you don't have to be the best artist in order to be successful. Right. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be the best rapper to be successful. You know what I mean? But you could be the better businessman. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? While you doing your music. Your music may just be okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But your business is on point. Mm-hmm. And that's why you're getting more spins than someone else who feel like they're better than you. Mm-hmm. Just is what it is. So I can't sit here and say, you know, you doing this wrong or you saying that wrong. You know what I mean?
What would you give advice? How would you give advice to an artist who is like, I'm not popping, like I'm doing, you know, all the work. I'm here in the studio all the time and like nothing's hitting. Like, what would you give them as advice to keep going or take a break for a little bit?
I mean, the thing is I tell artists when they ask me that question, you know, besides just being a rapper, because we all can rap nowadays. It's almost like being born able to rap already. The way that the way the kids are coming up now. Mm. So now it's just more like, you know, figure out your audience, because the business part is the part, you know. And business, when you say business, most people think that you're talking about, you know, money and you know, meeting with people and stuff like that. And it's like, no, it's all around. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different things that you have to do from a business perspective to make your music move. You know what I'm saying? That you just have to do it. There's too many opportunities now. There's too many things out here that we can use. We didn't have none of that back in the day. You know, so now it's all over the place. You know, sign up for Sound Exchange. You know, you got CD Baby. You got, you know, all these different. Jay-Z got you know, new thing.
The Tidal.
Yeah, Tidal and Spotify. You got all these different places that you can get your music on, and it doesn't cost you anything.
SoundCloud.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
lots of resources.
Yeah, it's lots of resources. You can when you sign up for like Sound Exchange and these different things that collect your money. Like, there's plenty of people who are making good money off of their music, and we never heard them a day in our life. You know what I'm saying? If you're a person that's on, you know, Tidal or Spotify, or any of these other platforms and you're a listener, you might have heard the songs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Here and there. Still might not even really know the artist, but you might like the song. But you don't have to buy it because they're getting paid off their streams. You know what I'm saying? And it may be little money, but if you get your business part right and you just leave it alone and you keep doing what you've been doing, just keep going to the studio, making records and just putting them up. You might look at your account one day, 8, 9 months later or a year later, and be like, dang, it's $7,500 in here. I ain't even had it. I need $7,500 right now. Or, you might have 15 grand in there. You'd never know. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, you just gotta use all these resources.
So you have a studio called Batcave.
Right.
How did you create? What made you create that name for your studio?
Well, I didn't create the name though. I'm gonna give that to Gil.
Okay.
So the original name that I had was Insomnia. I had Insomnia Studios.
Mm-hmm.
That was the name.
That's a dope name too.
Well, yeah, it would just mean we don't sleep.
Right.
You know what I mean? We keep working. Gil was like, Insomnia. What is that? You know what I mean? Then he was like, you should call it the Batcave. But at that time, the ceiling was black, but it had this foam that we sprayed up there for sound purposes. Okay. And when we painted it black, it looked kind of cavey like. So he was just like, you should call it Batcave. He's like, I'm gonna get my wife to come here and hang some bats. I'm like, nah, we ain't doing the bats though. But the Batcave is cool.
Okay.
Where was that studio at?
That was at 8th and Shelton.
I remember that studio.
Yeah, that was 8th and Shelton.
That's when you was recording like Beans and the whole state property.
Well, that was actually. If I take it back, I was actually there with Platinum Bound.
Okay.
So Platinum Bound, we have rented that space first, and me and Groove were the producers and engineers in there. And when we shut it down and I left, and I was able to get the call from someone who started in the basement, Eve, people, associates, and I ended up going to California, remember? Mm-hmm. And I ended up being the music editor for Eve's TV show.
Remember that show?
Oh, yes. I was a big fan.
And when I came back to the same building, and it was open for rent. So I rented the same building. I just rented a particular part because we had the whole big thing, but I only rented the one side.
Who are some of your inspirations from the past and present that have influenced you?
My influences in music. I'm gonna say early, I was DJing first. So even before the rapping, I was DJing first. And my first influence was Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, Cosmic Kev. They're a little older than me. So
older than me and you too. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. They used to do it in the parks. And I used to try to make my way to the parks. You know what I mean? Even when I got old enough to drive, and I had the BMW. Remember, I had the BMW, 325 BMW. Me and Tweet and Sean, we would go to the park. And see them partying. But that was my early, and then I got real heavy into Buckshot Shorty. The Duck Down Camp.
That's stuff K Wonder likes.
Yeah. I got heavy into them. Even got cool with one of them. And a friend of mine named Giletti that passed away was real tight with them. And he passed away, unfortunately. And but I got into them heavy. And I like Tribe Called Quest was a big influence on me. I think a lot of the backpack feel was heavy on me because that's just what was kind of happening at that time. Era, yeah. Right, and then when like Jay came along and Big, I was like, oh wow, I don't know. I mean.
But who are some of the artists that currently are influencing you?
Oh man, it's It's a lot of artists out there. I don't take away from
Or
none
not
of the
even
artists.
just influence, not to cut you off, but just that you maybe are like have your eye on and you're like, I'm gonna watch this one.
Well, it's nobody that I really have my eye on.
Okay.
I can't say that. I can't say I have anybody with my eye on, but there are a lot of artists that are doing a thing, you know, that I like. I like the feel. I like the bounce. So I'm not an old head. What they would consider me as an old head. You know, I'm 47. I'll put it out there. I'm 47, but you know, I'm not the old head that's stuck in this old time. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where music is at, and I appreciate what's happening with it as it grows. You know, I understand why they use these particular drum patterns, where some of the drums come from. You know what I'm saying? I know where some of these things come from. You know, I don't know. It's almost like when Dr. Dre came in the game, and when he really started growing in the game, he started playing everything. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody forget that now, and everyone else was still sampling a lot. You know what I'm saying? He was sampling, but he was playing over it.
Right.
You know, now people do it all day long. You can't hate on it because now that's just where it has went to. It's growing. Everyone's learning. Everyone's learning how to play. You know what I'm saying? So they can sample themselves. You know, the products, the technology is stepping up. So it's like I look at everyone and everything that's happening around me positive in music as some type of influence or something to watch. You know what I'm saying? I have to pay attention.
You have to.
Yeah.
Do you have a wish list of artists that you would want to work with at this point?
A wish list?
Yeah. Dead or alive?
Oh, dead or alive? Dead or alive. Well, I mean, in that case, yeah, I wish I could have worked with Big back when Jay told me he was going to get us in the studio. You know, and like, most people don't even know that I rap. Like, because you got to think about it. You know, nowadays, when people come in, you know, they're probably anywhere between 17 and even if you're 25, 26, you still didn't know that I rap. You still know me from engineering more. You know what I'm saying? But then when I play some stuff that I've done recently, they say, what? They do. They might say, what? Really?
Can we hear some?
I mean, I would play something. I would play. I mean, he's heard it. He heard it already. He heard some of the stuff. And he's been telling me to do it. Put it out.
So, what is stopping you from putting your own music out?
I just think that the age. Now I just know that I'm older, you know. But I had a plan, you know, and responsibility, like a lot of responsibilities. You know, I got a family now. I got kids. I got things that I have to do. I got bills to pay. You know, I can't. I don't know. I come to the studio. I do the work with other people. I try to help them grow. You know what I mean? And help them understand how to get where they're going if I can. And, you know, I'm happy with that. I'm not really happy with trying to be an artist.
We have rappers like Jay-Z.
But I would try. I would love to work with Jay. I would love to work with. I would love to work with Kendrick.
But he's naming artists that are
they're
their age.
But see, they grew up in the light of music and getting old within it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't name it. I'm not saying you can't, but you can't name 5 artists that you just heard of in the past 9 to 10 months that's almost 50 years old that's rapping. You know what I'm saying? They're just coming in the game, whether he's good or not. You just can't name one.
But
now you got older guys.
But that's a story within itself.
I think so. Yeah.
So do
you make your music then just for therapy for yourself?
Well, I at the time that I did what I was, you know, messing around with, you know, I felt an energy, and I did it, you know, and people were saying it was liking it, you know, but I don't know, I just didn't move forward with it. You know?
So what was it like? Another artist that you work with that we all know from the hit show Empire, How was it like?
Oh, Yaz.
Yaz.
Yeah, Yaz was a good kid. Yaz was a good kid. Probably a good wild kid. You know what I'm saying? And Yaz's mother and came to me, and you know, she was just trying to make her rounds. You know what I mean? To find out a studio that she can get him in, because she believed in her son, that he had something. So, you know, she was making her rounds. And she came to me twice. She came to me one time, and I was like, you know, I don't know. You know. And then she came another time with him. And I said, all right, yeah. I try him out. And I brought him in, and I did a song with him or whatever. I didn't produce it. Someone else did. But we did the song, and I liked his voice. He was a good kid. You know, and then, you know, kind of like the uncle role, you know, kind of came in, you know what I'm saying? You know, just trying to tell him to stay in school and, you know, be, you know, take out the trash when you're home, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But he was a good kid, man, and you know, we had our time.
So we see you got a plaque over there, a Rick Ross plaque.
Yeah. The Rick Ross plaque comes from well, you know, I worked with Meek during the time that he had his deal, and during the time that he had his deal, and I ended up doing a record. What Jalil did a record for Rick Ross called "So Sophisticated," and so you know, I did my version of the mix for the album or whatever, and so what happens is you know, no matter how you participate in an album or whatever the song is, I don't care if you did 2 ad-libs on the record and that was it, and your name is on that record, you get a plaque. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't that simple for me. Yes, I did work. I worked on the record, but you know, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you tell everyone who's watching, because I'm sure there's other artists that are up and coming perhaps that are going to see this, and what would be your advice as far as going from an artist to a star? Like, what are those things that kind of transition just a regular artist into that mega star, or you know, that next level over the pendulum?
I
like that word.
I don't think that there are things that you can really pinpoint nowadays to say this is what makes you a star.
So would you say that in the past that was easier to define? You could kind of define what a star, how to become a star as an artist, maybe in the 90s easier than now this millennium? Yeah.
Well, in the 90s, it wasn't based around a lot of antics.
Because there's no social media like that.
Yeah, so now it's just kind of like, you could be, like we already know, like I said, you don't have to be the best rapper. But you cannot rap at all almost. And say you're a rapper and be a star because you're doing all these other things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so what if they wanted to be more about their music? What would be your advice?
Okay, if they want to be more about their music, all I say is stay true to yourself. Stay true to the craft that you're working on and how you approach it. And people will eventually gravitate. If you're saying something with some meaning, with some feel, or whatever, it's going to take a while, but people will start to gravitate to what you're doing because you're giving a message. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what you're talking about when you're talking. You're basically a verbal book to people. Or you're saying all the things that people wish they could say. You know what I'm saying? And it will eventually start to pick up. You know, but if you don't do that, then yeah, you have to. I guess you got to resort to the untalented thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
how do one who wants to be a producer or wants to be an engineer, what kind of advice would you give to them?
Well, you know, there's a difference between a producer and a beat maker.
What's the difference?
So, a beat maker is someone who makes a beat and they bring it here or they send it to you and you just rap on it. They don't really care about what you're saying, or they can't help you with what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But a producer can guide you on how to approach the record because they have somewhat the idea when they actually made the track. You know what I'm saying? And they can help guide you on the track to get where you're going. You know what I mean? They paint the picture already. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, or put it this way, the producer has all the colors, you know what I mean, ready and set to go, and you're painting the picture as the artist. And while you in there trying to paint the picture, he's just helping you detail it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then he throws on all the color, you know, to make it right. So that's the producer. You know what I mean?
Now, what about the engineer part?
But engineer's role now has stepped up a lot.
Also.
Which, and the funny thing is that the way that it has stepped up and is getting recognized, I know I was one of the early ones doing it. Not nothing to necessarily get recognized by it, but what happens is as engineers, you know, we get tracks from producers, and then we do a lot of things to help the track sound better as the artist is on it. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I'm gonna say beat makers. We get them from the beat makers, and we make the track sound better a lot of times. You know, the artist may sound good, but now you're creating certain drops. You're doing certain things to the beat. You know, because we have so many plugins to manipulate it. It sounds like it was part of the beat, but the average listener is gonna say, "Oh, that track is hot," and think the producer did the track the way that it is all the way. And it's like, no, because actually the track was just straight through. We did all the filtering and we moved things around and we did this. That's what made it exciting along with the artist.
Right.
Not that it was a bad track. So now, to be honest,
Finesse it.
we really become co-producers. But we don't get that credit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we just doing the job. We being engineers. That's why now, like my partner P, he has the Respect the Engineer. That's his tag, you know, on Instagram. Respect the Engineer. We do a lot more. You know, the engineers back in the day used to be, you know, older white guys or whatever the case. The nerdy guy with glasses on. He don't do anything but hit the record button. You know what I mean? Wait till you say stop. He stop it. He rewinds the tape. You know, that stuff. Now, the engineers look more like me. Or they may be more buffed, you know, they may be more street, they may be a little more thorough. You know, they come from the same place that the rapper do. Sometimes the engineer is a little more street than the rapper. You know what I'm saying? Don't even know the engineer choke him out. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
You choking people out?
No, I'm not choking nobody out. I did get the gloves with somebody, but he never came back. Yeah, I did. I had gloves. Before I shut the studio down, man, I had gloves for somebody. I ain't gonna say no names, I ain't gonna say why. And he found out I had the gloves. I know he did. He never came back.
What do you enjoy creatively more, producing or being an artist yourself and like rapping and doing your own thing?
I like the engineer thing right now a lot still. I still love it. And it just happened to me to do it. You know, so I'm trying to find my way back into just getting into the producing phase again, you know, as far as creating actual music. I'm trying to get it back, you know what I mean? I see she was trying to say wrap it up a little. We're gonna make this a 2-part series. This is gonna be a 2-part series. I ain't even get through half of it yet. It's gonna be 2-part.
Juicy.
Well, then we need to.
But we appreciate you opening the Batcave to the Drop Night show.
Oh yeah, anytime, man, anytime.
Let the people know what you have coming up, or if there's any artists that you're working with right now that we should look out for.
Oh man, you know, there's a lot of good artists that are coming around. Oh man, Smoke. You know,
we just had him on our show.
Yeah. I like Smoke a lot, the kid Quake, he's here. He's working right now.
Tell you what, this Wiz though, he was Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
This kid named
Not
Juan.
to mention he looks like a baby. I can't
Oh, yeah.
his age on.
It's this kid named Juan. And I know nobody even heard of him. But if you hear this kid, he sounds incredible. You wouldn't even believe he's one taking what he's doing. He's crazy with it. Oh man, it's like, now I got like a brain freeze on artists. You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's a lot of
out
artists.
for them.
Definitely.
And if someone is an artist out there that wants to come to the Batcave, how do they reach you?
Oh man, you know what? My personal number is open to the public. I'm nobody special. I'm a regular person. Some people put me on a pedestal or whatever the case. Okay, if that's what you want to do, great. I'm humble. I'm always like that. I'm cool. But oh yeah,
we'll get back to you.
Yeah. That don't exist in this book. But my number, you can get my personal number right on Instagram.
Okay.
Batcave Studio 1. You know what I'm saying? You can call me direct. You can touch me. You know what I'm saying? You can talk to me directly.
So,
I don't think you want people touching you.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We
know.
Not on duty, as Gil and EA would say, not on duty. But yeah. So I'm very reachable.
Okay.
Great.
You can text me or whatever.
Well, y'all don't be shy.
Yeah.
This
Nah,
guy's the real.
don't.
And he's very humble.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's just how life worked out for me. Maybe not for you. I don't know what happened to you.
I'm humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just how life worked out for me, man. Being humble is good, and sometimes it can be bad.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but we're all different people. You know what I'm saying? So,
But
see, here you go. I was just talking about Juan, and this is his brother calling me.
that's fun.
Yes. I'm going to have to call him back.
But again, thanks for letting the Drop Night Show come and invade the Batcave.
Yeah. Like I said, we're going to make this a 2-part series. They don't even know they coming back down here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get them back down here, and we're going to make this 2-part. Because we're going to go deeper and deeper. And then I'll give you some real other information. So,
The drop on the drop.
The drop on the drop. They get the drop.
We're here for it. We'll be back.
Yeah.
And it's a wrap.